Hello guys and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the knee-jerk live reaction stream where we react to Game Week 21 and we'll also look ahead to double Game Week 22, I believe. So yeah, if you are just joining in, don't forget to drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. And yeah, we've just finished watching Manchester United v Arsenal. Wow, what a game. Was Arsenal winning it right at the death, 3-2. We're going to talk about that as well, and also, just go through how our teams have performed in Game Week 21. But how you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. It's been a very eventful weekend, especially after that last game just now. But yeah, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, let's bring up our teams. So let's go first. I'll go first. So yeah, this is my team for Game Week 21 so far. It's been up and down, I'd say, still. I am on a green arrow. What feels like my first green arrow in ages, because I've kept on getting red arrows in recent weeks. So for once, I am on a green, and it feels nice to have a green arrow, because I think I haven't got a green since the World Cup, presumed. So yeah, I'll take that. But let's talk about how I've done. So in goal, I went Danny Ward, and Leicester did draw, I think, to Brighton, didn't they? So Brighton did come back. I think Leicester were 2-0 up at one point. And Brighton fought back to peg them back 2-2. So, sorry, no, it was 1-1, wasn't it? Mitoma did score first, I think, in that game, and then they equalised, and then it went 2-2. So, yeah, nothing really there for Danny Ward, 1 point, which isn't great. Moving on to the back line, and this is where it's not that great either from my team, because you look at Trippier. Now, I'm very happy with him keeping another clean sheet. Are we surprised now at this point, Trippier keeping a clean sheet? It's pretty much a given now. Every week he seems to be keeping a clean sheet. So 0-0 from Newcastle and Palace. He does get the 3 bonus points yet again, which is not a surprise. But he did pick up a yellow card, so he could have got a 9-pointer. Got the -1 for a yellow card. Moving on to Ben White. Now, Ben White was substituted off at half-time. I thought he struggled quite a lot against Rashford. He got booked, I think, as well early on. So he got yellow card, and I think Arteta didn't want to take that risk in case he got sent off or whatever. So Tomiyasu came in, so he got 0 points because he didn't play actually 60 minutes. Moving on to Luke Shaw, who is an automatic substitute for me because Cancelo, as you see on my bench, Cancelo was actually on the bench for the whole game. He's been dropped yet again by Pep. So Shaw comes in, automatic sub, but it doesn't matter anyway, because Luke Shaw got 0 points due to his yellow card and the fact that he conceded 3 goals. That was a -1 as well for Luke Shaw. So yeah, 0 points for Luke Shaw. So the back line, other than Trippier, it's not been great really. Moving on to the 5 in midfield, I've got Mason Mount, who first up, 3 points from him. And we know Liverpool and Chelsea played out a very boring 0-0 on Saturday morning. Mount just got the 1 point for the clean sheet. So all in all, 3 points. Nothing really there. Mount didn't really have any, attacking threat in that game. He didn't look like scoring or getting an assist or anything like that. He will be coming out my team, Mount. I thought I'd leave him in because they had Liverpool, and I thought, he might get something, but nothing to be there. So only the 3-pointer. Moving on to KDB, De Bruyne, who does pick up an assist. So 1 assist, 3 points. And he also got a clean sheet, obviously winning 3-0. So he gets 1 point for that. And he was substituted around 76 minutes. So, Man City 3-0, very comfortable win in the end. Obviously, we'll come on to Haaland and his hat-trick. But yeah, KDB will probably come out my team potentially for maybe De Bruyne, Bruno, but we'll see. But yeah, 6 points, 1 assist. I'll take that. Moving on to Saka, who did pick up 9-pointer, which was very nice. We've just seen that game finish. Saka scored a brilliant goal on his left foot outside the box, curled it into the bottom corner pretty much. Saka was also a bit unlucky because straight after that he had another shot and that hit the post. So Saka he could have scored two very similar goals, but one went in and one hit the post. So yeah, I thought Saka was brilliant. Probably my man of the match in that for Arsenal. I thought he had a good game, and I'm glad I held on to him. And yeah, one goal, and then also the 2 bonus points from him. Moving on to Martinelli, who did blank, only the 2 points for minutes played. He didn't have as many, he wasn't as good as Saka on the other side, but he had a couple of chances, half chances, where he could have shot maybe a bit earlier, but wasn't to be. And yeah, he blanks. Moving on to Marcus Rashford as well. He picks up a 7-pointer, which is a very good again, because Marcus Rashford scores again. He's in the form of his life right now, and he also scored another brilliant goal. I think he picks the ball up, he nutmegs Partey, and then he, lovely strike outside the box into the corner, and Ramsdale had no chance. Another lovely goal from Rashford, and 7-pointer from him. He scores yet again. And then finally, moving up top, let's start with Haaland, who was my captain, and it's funny that he goes and scores a hat trick when most people triple captained him last weekend. And it probably was better to do it this week, of course, when he gets the hat trick. And that is now 25 goals this season so far for Haaland. So what can you say about him? Some people were thinking, should I captain Haaland this weekend? Some people were maybe not sure, but that's what is the risk of going against Haaland, because he comes up trumps with a hat trick for a 34-point haul. Obviously picking up the 3 bonus points as well, and the 3 goals. So very nice return from Haaland, but he's obviously going to be highly owned and captained anyway, so it won't make much difference anyway to the rank. And finally, I have Mitrovic, who does play Tottenham at home tomorrow, so we'll have to wait and see what he does against Spurs. So I'm not finished, because I've still got 1 player left. But yeah, that's about it really for my team. And on the bench, Cancelo, Greenwood, and Patterson, not much to talk about. The only disappointing thing for my team was the fact that Ben White and Luke Shaw, I think, got 0 points, which was a bit annoying. But the positives, obviously, Haaland getting a hat trick, I guess, even though he's highly owned. I think De Bruyne and Saka was nice to see them return. I wasn't so sure how many goals if Saka could score, but I was happy to see Saka score, because he's still fairly low owned, so that was good. But yeah, that is my team, guys. 70 points overall. It is a green arrow with Mitrovic still to play, and my current rank is 1.5 million, so 556,000. It's a small green arrow, but it's a green arrow nonetheless. I'll take it with the week I've had recently, the few weeks I've had getting those reds. So yeah, that's my team. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys did as well in the scores with your teams, and it'd be nice to find out. But yeah, if you are just joining the stream, guys, don't forget to drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's move on to your team, Jordan. Talk us through how your game week 21 has gone. I will bring up your team. Yep, there you go.
Okay, let's start off with Ederson, who was my goalkeeper for game week 21. So Man City did win comfortably 3-0 against Wolves. There's no real trouble in defence really for any defender or the goalkeeper. Really, Ederson was pretty much relaxing. Not much was really given at him from Wolves. So yeah, a comfortable 6-pointer from him with the clean sheet behind him. So it was a nice, comfortable return. Moving to the defence, which was similar. Not much going on apart from the cliche of Trippier getting another clean sheet, and on top of him a bonus 3 as well, which leaves him with an 8-pointer. He did get a yellow card in that game, so he did get a point taken off of him, so that leaves him with 8 points, but doesn't really do much with the rank because we all own Trippier at this point, or majority of us do. So yeah, it just helps that he's still returning. Moving on to the other defenders, so we got Lewis Dunk, who I did start over. I did take out Cancelo and started Dunk, and that didn't really work out either, because obviously Brighton did concede, and it was 2 goals they did concede by us, and the ending result was 2-2. So not managed a clean sheet again, Brighton, who are not really getting many at all. I was in doubt that Dunk was going to get a clean sheet in that game. but that just leaves me 1 point, and the point taken off for goals conceded, obviously. Next, we have Luke Shaw, who did get the 0 points. Obviously, Man United did concede 2 goals, so that was a point taken off of Shaw. And
3.
he also got a yellow card, so that leaves him with 0 points going forward. Yeah, it was quite an eventful game. Man United did put up a good fight against Arsenal. I'm really, really proud of the way they did fight out to the end. Moving on to the midfield, this is pretty much the same as last week from Martinelli again. Another blank from him. He's not quite been the same since before the World Cup. I mean, after the World Cup, he has been quite different. Not particularly the same. He has getting those moments of maybe chances, but still, they haven't really returned him points, and he only got 2 for match time played. So, yeah, hopefully he might have more luck against Everton in the next fixture in Game Week 22. Moving on to Almiron, who got 3 points. So Newcastle, again, Almiron did have a few chances in that game where he could have potentially scored, but he wasn't able to finish them. It's a bit unfortunate again, I think, from Almiron, who is on a quite a blanking streak at the moment, which is putting his transfers really up. Literally, he's been transferred out 100,000. I've already transferred out Almiron in this game week, and it's not even over yet. So a lot of people are getting rid of Almiron for obviously for double game week 22, which is quite of a little surprise, I guess. But I understand why. But yeah, another blank for Almiron with 3 points. Moving on to the Man United duo of Fernandes and Rashford. So we start off with Fernandes, who did assist Rashford's goal, leading up to the 1-0 in the early starts of that game. Really nice finish, obviously, from Rashford, and really nice setup from Fernandes. He seems to be the assistant in FPL who is rising up in terms of his form. I mean, he is outscoring still KDB, who is much more expensive than him, and he's on a return streak for Man United too. So I expect his ownership to rise still, but he has been a great differential for me so far. He got the 5 points, obviously from that assist and match time played, and Rashford he got the 7 points for he scored the goal and for match time played as well. So 2 nice returns on the Man United assets in the midfield. And finally, we got Rodrigo, who did blank again. I was quite frustrated with that match against Brentford. I felt like Leeds were the better team, and they did have a few chances in that game, but none of them really finished. And to be fair, David Raya pretty much saved Brentford from losing that game. He was pretty good in goal. He saved quite a few good shots that Leeds were peppering Brentford with. So yeah, I'm a bit annoyed that Rodrigo did blank again. I feel like it's a bit unfortunate, especially after his goal was offside last game. We can now literally denied by David Raya as well this week. So yeah, hopefully though he has a double game week in 22, maybe he can reap rewards in that game week. Moving on to the front two, we've got Haaland, who comes with a surprise of scoring a hat trick against Wolves. So literally he scored all the goals for Wolves, leading to the 3-0 win for Man City, which I feel very sorry for those who did go against Haaland this week, because I imagine it has hurt your ranks really badly. With that 34-pointer over him with the captaincy, it's been very, very punishing if you did go against Haaland this game week. And yeah, it's going to be really hard to top that if you still have Harry Kane. I mean, he would have to score at least 4 goals to make it really worthwhile. But yeah, Haaland has surprised many. I mean, I think for the triple captainers are a bit annoyed that he did score a hat trick in this single game week fixture instead of the double game week. But yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that Haaland has scored yet again another hat trick and is on a massive record spree. And finally, we got Tony, who the only thing he got from that game was a yellow card, so that led him with only 1 point. It's kind of a bit of annoyance. I think you can mostly tell why it's an annoyance from the bench. But yeah, he only got 1 point from that game. The yellow card only being the point deducted from him, so nothing much else to say. Brentford were the underdogs in that game. Leeds were on top of them throughout most of that game, and yeah, pretty quiet from Tony. So that's basically the starting 11, pretty much talked through. I'll go through my team bench quickly because there is a bit of a few talking points on there, unfortunately. Not much from Danny Ward, obviously he got 1 point, but this is the one that has added insult to injury because not only did I bench Nketiah, which Huss did mention or suggest to me that I should start him over either Rodrigo or Tony. He did score 2 goals against Man United, literally a few minutes ago. So that led him with a 13 pointer, 10 points for the 2 goals and the bonus 3 on top, which got him the 13 points, which would have made the difference from me being on a red to potentially being on a really good green arrow this week. But I did stick to my guns. I absolutely wasn't going to start Nketiah at all. So I have no regrets really in benching him for this game week. I mean, there was a chance that he would score, but I didn't think he would score 2 goals against Man United. So I kind of went with the fixture, I think, on that benching reasoning instead of the form, which I probably should have gone for instead. But hey ho, I won't be doing that mistake again because that has punished me this game week. Next we got Ben White, who did get 0 points for the yellow card, and then he got substituted off, and then obviously goals conceded as well, so it was left with 0. Another annoying thing, last on the team bench is Ben Mee, who I did originally have in my starting 11, and then I switched him out for Dunk, and he did turn around and get 6 points for the clean sheet in that Brentford 0-0 against Leeds. So that was another slightly annoying thing that's happened this game week. I've literally got 20 points sitting on the bench, which again has led me to a red arrow. So I am now on 459k. It's not a massive red arrow, but it is still a red arrow, which I could have easily avoided if I played Nketiah and Ben Mee, which could have been a complete different scenario to what it is right now. But it is what it is. I mean, there's still Fulham and Tottenham to play tomorrow, so it all depends on how big that red arrow becomes. But looking forward, double game week 22, obviously that would be much more better. I just feel like game week 21 was a bit weird in terms of results from players and not really going my way for my starting 11 and obviously for the bench. But this is my first red arrow in a while, so sooner or later it was bound to happen. But at the end of the game week, I did get 69 points, and I'm on the total of 1,258 points, so not doing too bad there. And yeah, that's pretty much how my game week 21 team has done.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna read a few questions. That I think there's a few questions that's come in that I've missed. But before we before we get onto that, sorry, can everyone please drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Got Damian Mason, evening guys. Got Dan Hilton as well. Evening to you guys. Hope you're well. Missed the deadline and had Kane as captain. Not good. Well, you never know. He plays tomorrow, so you'll have to be praying he gets a goal in that one. Sell Cancelo for a United defender. Not sure. Well, Shaw would be my main pick, but if not, you could look at someone like Wan-Bissaka, maybe. Well, I know Lisandro Martinez scored today. Maybe him, Lisandro Martinez, potentially. Manish, welcome. He says, get in Odegaard, Saka, then Sane. Is that Sane?
Oh, same.
Oh, okay. Then same game week triple captain Rashford. We'll come on to next week, game week 22, and talk about triple captaincy because Rashford obviously doubles along with the other Man United assets. So we'll talk about triple captaincy and if anyone is tempted with Rashford next week. Selling Martinelli for Odegaard, Almiron for Saka. Could do. I'll let you take this one, Jordan. What do you think about Almiron? Keep or sell?
Okay, I mean, I think fair enough. This is a good question to raise because a lot of people will get rid of Almiron to bring in the double gaming player for 22. So considering he's had over 100,000 transfers out already,
It's
I
got West Ham
think
next.
he does have West Ham next. But I think for this week, just because it's double game week for players, I think he could be potentially a sell,
Hmm.
especially when he's been blanking these few games. I know he's had chances to score and his form hasn't really dropped off. It's just finishing that has for him. I think it is worth a sell just for this double game week coming up. And I know I normally don't really go for double game week, but because of the fixtures that these teams have for this game week, I am going to go with selling Amaron just to bring
Hmm.
in a midfielder that potentially has two fixtures.
All right, let's bring up both our teams and we'll talk about game week 22 because game week 21 is out the way. I know Tottenham and Fulham have to play tomorrow, which we'll see. But let's move on now to talking about game week 22 and how we're lining up. So I'm going to bring up my team first on the screen. I hope you guys can see that okay. Um, but yeah, so if you're looking at my team right now, I do have 2 free transfers for game week 22. So in goal, I've got Danny Ward, who's got Villa away. The back three, I've got Trippier at West Ham. At home, I've got Ben White, who's got Everton away. I've got Luke Shaw, who had the double game week with 2 nice fixtures against Palace and Leeds. I've got midfield 5 of Martinelli against Everton, De Bruyne at Tottenham, Rashford with a double against Palace and Leeds. I've got Saka against Everton, and then Mount against Fulham at home. And then up front, I've got Haaland against Spurs, and then Mitrovic at Chelsea. So first things first, I think we need triple Man United, of course. I think that's an obvious one. I've got 2 Man United players right now, Shaw, Rashford. You have 3, including Bruno. Do you still think Bruno is the one to go for it? For me, for example, who doesn't have him, or do you think there's another Man United asset, or you think Bruno is the one that if you don't have him, he's the one you should be looking at?
No, Bruno is the one to go for, without a doubt. When watching him in Man United matches, he's always involved, and from in terms of FPL, he's always returning points, even if it's just one assist, which he did get this evening against Arsenal in that loss. He is
Mhm.
still the assistant magnet, even a goal scorer as well, potentially in this double game week. I feel like it's a huge loss if people don't go for Fernandez in these doubles because it is Crystal Palace and Leeds,
Yeah.
both home fixtures as well. And it's definitely Fernandez is probably the one I'll target if I didn't have him already.
Yeah, I think I agree there. KDB to Fernandez looks like a good move for me. I do have 2 frees, so I could definitely make that happen. I've got Michael Parker's. Good evening, guys. Sending you a prosperous and healthy 2023. I'm on 61 at the moment. Kane captain yet to play. Uh, good evening, Michael. Hope you're well. And nice to see you on the stream again. Yeah, hopefully Kane can do the business for you, I guess. Even as a non-owner myself, I obviously hope that Mitrovic is the one that gets the goals. Damien, 70 points without bonus points for today, and Kane to play. Nice. Sport Cat with 75 points with Mitrovic to play. So a lot of you with pretty good scores. Kwanda, 63 points all out, but with 2 free transfers. A lot of people are considering, we spoke about Almiron out potentially. There is a few considering it. Alex switched from Kepa to Ward last minute and knew it would be a bad week on 64 with Kane and Mitro to save me. Yeah, I would have played Kepa. I did say that if I had him. I just don't. Liverpool don't even look even good going forward these days anymore. So yeah, Krogsberg. I'll let you take this one, Jordan. If you want to take this one?
I'm thinking about transferring out Walker to Shaw and KDB to Fernandez. What you guys think about it? I think that is the most perfect 2 free transfers you could make, Crossberg. I totally agree with those transfers. Not too keen on City defenders. Personally, that's why I've gone with Edison in goal and Walker to Shaw. Shaw doubles, and he's been great asset. KDB to Fernandez. KDB hasn't really done much so far in the past few game weeks, apart from one assist here and there. Fernandes has outscored him in the past 6 game weeks. So yeah, two transfers there worth doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think those 2 moves look good. We've got Dom in the chat. I just want to say thank you, bros. Top tier FPL managers. You told me to play Mitoma and Saka and paid off. 2 million to 500k rank in 2 weeks, and Kane still to play. Well, there you go. We just, I try to do my best. I know I mentioned Mitoma a lot in the last couple streams, and he did go and score this weekend. So yeah, I kind of regret not bringing him in myself for Mount, but I am glad I have 2 free transfers this week. But yeah, thank you for the kind words, Dom. For how long is Martial out for? Sorry, how long is Martial out for? No one really knows. I'd avoid Martial now, personally. I think even if he comes back, he's prone to getting injured again, and you never know when he's going to come back. So I would completely avoid him if it was me. If you want to take a punt on the United striker, I mean, Weghorst, but he doesn't look... I don't know if I'd want to go there. I'd prefer Bruno and Rashford over any other Man United attacker right now. Chief with the comment, 73 points with Kane and Dyer to play. Should triple captain Haaland this week? Yeah, still a good score. Still 2 to left to play as well. But yeah, the Haaland hat-trick came out of nowhere a bit. A lot of people thought to go last week, obviously, because he had the double. So that just shows sometimes it's actually better to just captain a player in a single game week where it could also pay off. Because I know a lot of people did triple captain Haaland when he got a hat trick in earlier on in the season, like game week 9, etc. So, yeah. I think it's a question for me. It says, Alex Huss, you're doing Mount to Bruno and Saka to Odegaard. Keep KDB for the double. This is actually a good recommendation. So I could keep... I can keep KDB just because he's got a double in game week 23 the week after. But I am actually tempted to get rid of De Bruyne and potentially bring in Mahrez for that double, in game week 23. So I wouldn't be against taking out KDB just because I think Mahrez might be a better pick than him right now. I know Mahrez scored again, didn't he, today? No, sorry, he didn't score today. He got the assist, and he actually did score, but it was offside. He made it 4-0, but his right foot, I think, was slightly offside. So I think right now I'd probably prefer Mahrez over De Bruyne. I don't know what you think. But yeah,
I definitely prefer another midfielder to De Bruyne. I think he's similar to Salah. He's too expensive, and he's not given what he's worth currently.
Yeah, if I had to pick a Man City midfielder, I would still probably be tempted with Mahrez right now. Manish says going to sell KDB. Don't know who for. Well, Bruno is the obvious one right now, who has a double game week coming up against Palace and Leeds at home. So I think a lot of people will be transferring in Bruno this week. I think it's going to be a popular move. Michael says, do we hold out, though, to be last minute as this coming 12 days we have cup games to be played? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do any early transfers because, as we've seen this season, you're going to get last minute injuries. You want to wait for the press conferences. So make sure, if you can, wait as long as you can before you confirm your transfer moves. We've got a comment from Adam. What do you think of this, Jordan? Thoughts on Wan-Bissaka for the double? Would Lisandro be safer?
It's a good question. I do like Wan-Bissaka for the double. It's different because a lot of people go to Luke Shaw for this double. And the minutes for Wan-Bissaka aren't really at risk. He does play most minutes, like mostly 90 minutes. So I probably would say Wan-Bissaka more than Lisandro Martinez, even though he did score today. But I think it's moments like that where it was like a wonder goal for Martinez. He was just in the right place at the right time for that goal. Good goal, though, he scored. But I think I'd stick to Wan-Bissaka. And he also slightly has more attacking, I think, over Martinez as well.
Also, I was going to add the fact that with Dalot, where is Dalot, and is he back soon? Because if he's back, then maybe it becomes a bit more of a risk, Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, as of now, I still probably prefer Wan-Bissaka. It looks like Delo's still out for a while, and
Yeah. Dalot
you
had
want
a
to,
reoccurring relapse, I think, in an FA Cup match. I think he came off at half time in one of them.
yeah, I think I would avoid Delo. Obviously he's injured, but you could go for Wan-Bissaka because as long as Delo's still injured, then Wan-Bissaka, I'd definitely prefer him over Lisandro. I think. Why not Bruno? Sorry, Mount to Bruno and Cancelo to someone like Stones. Yeah, definitely, I could do something like that for sure. Um, I prefer that one. I think I haven't actually considered exactly what I'm doing yet, so I've got a lot of thinking to do about it.
We have a lot of time as well,
Mm.
as the deadline is far away.
When is the deadline? I actually haven't checked. Um, Next week's deadline is then. Sorry, next game week 22, right? It
Yeah.
is a Friday, 3rd of February. So it's a Friday deadline at 6:30. So we've got about 2 weeks pretty much till the next deadline. So we've got a while to go. So don't do anything early, guys. Make sure you wait and see how the cup games, the FA Cup, etc. go before you make your moves. Animations, Mitoma in for Almiron. Thinking this transfer could pay off, but going to wait and see what happens in the cups. Yeah, I would wait. Mitoma is definitely one I've had my eye on for a while, as I mentioned. Yeah, I just like the look of him right now, and yeah, you could consider him, but as I said, you should wait and see how they play in the cups as well, in case there's any
Yeah.
injuries, etc.
He does have Bournemouth next, which I see why it's an attractive transfer, bring him
Mm,
at home, because he is against a struggling team.
yeah. Manchester United plays good with Casemiro. Yeah, Casemiro is obviously a big miss for them. Uh, Damien says, join the Mares club. He has made a massive difference to my rank. Yeah, I'm jealous of the Mares owners. I was actually very close to bringing him into my team, and I didn't do it. I think it was in game week 20 or 21. Whichever week was when did Man City have the double? We're 21.
21.
Sorry, 20. Game week 20 when Man City had the double. When everyone triple captained Haaland. I was going to bring Mahrez in that week, but I didn't do it. Definitely KDB over De Bruyne. I think he means KDB over Bruno. Set for mins and even got one bonus with an only assist today. Yeah, I think he means Bruno. Or Mahrez. I think he means Mahrez.
Yeah, makes sense because Rice is getting the points and he's cheaper than KDB.
Mm. Yeah, I like Mahrez as a pick, definitely. He's been good for those that have him. Also got a 19-point return, I think, in the last game week, Mahrez in the double. Obviously, with the 2 goals against Spurs. Kwanda, Bruno will come on. Sorry, yeah, Bruno will come in. Salah, Nunes, and Cancelo all will be sold. Is it worth to do a triple captain and wild card this week? Jordan, let's speak about triple captain because Manchester United have 2 nice fixtures, both at home. Are you tempted with triple captaining Rashford or Bruno? And do you want to make a case for why we should be thinking about it?
Yeah, this is triple captain worthy, I think, this week because of the fixtures Man United have. Fortunately, both home as well, which is makes a difference. As obviously Old Trafford, I know Rashford scores a lot of goals away, but because they're home fixtures, it just makes it all the worthwhile. And it's against Crystal Palace, where Man United did draw against them 1-1, but that wasn't a away fixture, and I doubt it will be the same result. It would be completely different, I think, at home. And then they got Leeds, who don't look that great either. And again, another home fixture, Old Trafford. So these are 2 teams that are playing both away at a team that um, almost beat Arsenal in the game just a few moments ago. So Man United is looking strong for this double, and Rashford as well is having the season of his life. at the moment. So I can see why he would be triple captain worthy.
Will you
I
be
think he's
using it?
worthy of it this week. My
Sorry,
only worry is Haaland.
sorry, I was just saying, will you be using your triple captain this week on a Man United asset?
Personally, no. I'm gonna hold on to the triple captain chip. I'm not gonna play it this week when on any Man United asset.
Okay, but I think a Man United player will definitely be captained over Haaland, right? Haaland's got Tottenham away, and Man United have two amazing doubles. So I'm assuming most people are going to captain the Man United player anyway. But triple captain, guys, I'm not ruling it out. I could play my triple captain this week because I think it's two nice fixtures, both at home. Rashford and Bruno are pretty nailed to play both games because Man United don't really have any other alternative options. Those guys are pretty much guaranteed to play 90 minutes. So I think it could be a good time. If you want to get rid of your triple captain chip, it could be a good time to play it. Also, we've got to speak about Leeds as well because a few questions have come in regards Leeds. So I'm going to bring up the fixtures for game week 22. Leeds have a double game week as well. So Nottingham Forest for Leeds, first double. And then they've got Manchester United as well. So are we thinking about any Leeds players? I've got Greenwood in my team, but he's very he barely plays minutes. So one name that's popped up a lot we'll come on to is Adam says Gononto looks real good for Leeds and a good enabler at only 5 million. Michael Parker's also chips in with I was about to transfer Gononto in for Wilson. Gononto, what do you make of him? Because he's cheap, only 5 million, I believe. He's playing up front pretty much he's a forward in the game. He's looking very good, I think, overall for Leeds so far. And is he someone that you'll consider, Jordan, this weekend? Or next weekend, I should say.
He is a dangerous player. And for the double, he wouldn't be a bad player to go for, especially when no one really owns him either. And very cheap. He is a forward though, so you do have to risk playing or taking out another forward for him in this double.
Yeah.
It's quite a mixed double though, because they do have Man United, and I don't know what he could possibly do against Man United. But yeah, he could be a good one to go for in this double game week. Slightly different to what people will go for, and that's probably Rodrigo as the main player to go for in terms of these. But Gononto, I'll say he's a different one to go for. Not many people look at him, even though his form's been really good.
Yeah, I'm tempted with Gononto just because of his price. It allows me to easily bring him in, and I want to keep the midfield spots for other players. So, yeah, he's one definitely I think is an option if you are wanting to add a Leeds player in your team. Chief says, Haas, you give great advice, but don't take the advice yourself. Yeah, I mean, it's happened a lot in recent weeks. I've said a lot of things that I've said about Mahrez, Mitoma, etc. But I haven't really took the advice on board myself. And yeah, it's a bit annoying how I haven't done that. Maybe I should follow my gut more. But yeah, I will do that now, I think, going forward. Elliot says Martial to Kane, Zaha to Mitoma, Cancelo to White for a -4. I mean, Martial, you have to take him out because he's injured. Zaha, I'm not a fan right now. Cancelo as well, I'd be removing him, so I wouldn't be against taking a -4 because you've got two players that don't really play, Martial and Cancelo, so I can't complain there for the -4. Colm says trouble with triple captain on Rashford is the second semi-final is on the 1st, then Palace on the 4th, and Leeds on the 8th. A quick turnaround. Yeah, that is a fair comment from Colm. Obviously, Man United are involved in a semi-final against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, so we'll have to see how that does play out. And yeah, whether you decide to play the triple captainship.
I mean, he could. I don't know if Ten Hag could potentially bench him for that game because it's not really going to be the toughest fixture for Man United in the semi. I know it's a semi-final and that's really big, but this is Nottingham Forest who have struggled in the Premier League, so it could be possible rotation in that
I mean, I
FA
think
Cup semi.
I'm at the point where I think Rashford's going to play every game if he's fit, because Man United don't really have anyone else. I don't think any. If you take out Rashford's goals, I think I've said this a lot. Man United do struggle because I don't see where other goals come from, in a sense, especially in the forward line. Weghorst is new. I don't think he's that player that runs in behind. Anthony's there on the right side, and then Sancho, we know, who isn't involved in the squad again, and I don't know what's happening with Sancho and if he's going to come back. So maybe if Sancho, we'll have to see what happens with Sancho. But in regards to that left-hand side, Man United don't have much options. They can play Garnacho there, to be honest. Garnacho could get minutes off. I think Garnacho would become coming onto the pitch for minutes. I don't think he'll start those games. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I
Yeah,
think he's the one.
I reckon he will start for that semi. I mean, that's a good time to start Garnacho, I think, for him as a young player. I think that's a good, I'll say it, to show a real good example to Ten Hag that he's a serious player and he wants to have minutes. So I hope depends
Yeah,
what Ten Hag thinks about it.
I think Rashford will probably start these games, but then he'll come off maybe in one of them, and then Garnacho comes on. But we'll see. But there's a good point from Colm there. But yeah, let's bring up my team again. So I've got 2 free transfers and 0.9 million in the bank. So let's say I do take out Mount. I've got 8.4 million. I was to bring in Fernandez. That leaves me with 1.4. So I'll have to downgrade someone, which is probably Cancelo. That leaves me 5.6 million as well. So who would I bring in? Maybe as Stones, as someone in the chat mentioned. I could do something like this. If not Stones, it could be anyone else in that defense. But of course, Man City do have a double game week in 23, so I think 3 City players will be nice as well for Man City's double. But that does include Arsenal in that double, so it's not the easiest with the way Arsenal are playing right now. But yeah, I could do something like this for free if I want to take a hit. If I want to take a hit, I could do Greenwood out. Sorry, not Greenwood out. Don't have the money. Where would I go? I could do something like Martinelli to someone like a Rodrigo, etc. Or even Mitch. If I want to take Mitrovic out, Mitrovic does have a tough game against Chelsea away. I could do Mitrovic to Gononto for a double, but I'm not sure I'd do that. I might just go without any Leeds players. I've got Greenwood there, but I'm not going to start him because I wouldn't expect him to get many minutes. So, do you think we need Leeds though? Like, they got a nice fixture against Nottingham Forest away.
Personally, I'll just have one Leeds player. I don't think 2 or 3 is going to be necessary because you're only going to want them for that one game week where they double. You're not really going to want them for a long period of time, especially when Arsenal do double in the next game week as well. So you do want to leave space for other players that you want to bring back in, like Arsenal assets especially, and just have maybe one Leeds player. I mean, take a punt on just one Leeds player, I think, personally. I don't think having 2 or 3 is really necessary, especially when Leeds have Man United in one of them, which is going to be a tough fixture.
I just want to add quickly, guys, there is about 40 of you watching in here, and there's only about 10 likes or so. So if you haven't liked the video, please do consider liking if you can. It really helps support the channel. So like the video, guys. It helps us out a lot. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. So like and subscribe, guys. It helps us out massively. Philip also says you can use Gononto for Game Week 25 blank. I think that's a fair comment as well. Gononto can play in that game.
I mean, you could, but you have to hold him on till Game Week 25, and he's a forward position.
Yeah. I mean, I play a 3-5-2 anyway. And Gononto is cheap enough to bench, I think. He's only 5 million. So it's not the worst thing in the world, benching him. Mitrovic Derby is no tough fixture for Fulham. Yeah, I think he means Mitrovic playing against Chelsea isn't tough. Yeah, I kind of agree with that because Mitrovic has proven that he can score against pretty much anyone so far this season. So selling Mitrovic could also backfire. And I've held on to Mitrovic for so long, and his fixtures are turning green again. So I probably want to keep him now because most people won't have Mitrovic anymore because they would have sold him due to his tough fixtures. But yeah, let us know. Are you guys going to use a triple captainship as well? Actually, I'm interested to know. Game week 22, Man United have a nice double. How many of you are actually willing to, use that chip? Because I am tempted with a Rashford potentially or a Bruno. Jordan, what's your team looking like for game week 22? I'll let you bring yours up.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got 2 free transfers as well, haven't you?
Yeah, bit of a difficult situation because I think I've put myself into.
All right, talk us through early thoughts, transfer plans wise. So you've got Rodrigo in there, which is quite nice. Leeds player that doubles.
Yeah, well, I don't think I need to bring in any more doubles because I have 3 doubles for Man United and 1 for Leeds, so I think I'm covered in that department. And in terms of single game week players, they all have nice fixtures, which is the headache because I don't really want to transfer out. I could transfer out Almiron, that's in my mind, even though he has West Ham at home. I could potentially get rid of him and bring in. I'm not sure who I'd bring in for him though. Maybe Matoma.
What about? I was just going to think, will you be playing Nketiah? Because he's got Everton away. Everton are pretty bottom of the struggling right now. Or you could just play Nketiah against Everton, which is a nice fixture for him, I think. I know he's just 13-pointer today, but Everton don't look good either. So I would be scared to bench him again. But then you're in a benching headache again because do you want to bench? Who would you want to bench really? You could bench Almiron, but West Ham are also not great right now. So you do have a bit of a benching headache.
Yeah, that's a massive bench headache. I mean, apart from midfield, Martinelli's the only one that doesn't double. And I could bench Tony.
Who's Tony got? Bournemouth.
He's got Southampton at home.
Southampton, sorry, yes. Yeah, I mean, that's another good fixture though.
Yeah, that's the problem I'm having. All my players really have good fixtures for this week. It's a really high scoring game week when you look at it. In terms of the fixtures that these players have, which does worry me a bit.
And also, I'm assuming you're going to captain Rashford or Fernandes, one of the United boys.
No, I am going to captain Haaland.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because I'm definitely captaining a doubler for this game week. Because Haaland got a single game week against Spurs. He could go and get 2 goals against Spurs, but I'll back the double game week play as always. So yeah, I think I will put it on Fernandes, probably. We'll see. It depends on the cup games and getting closer to the time. If I think they're both going to play 90 minutes, the United boys. But yeah, you're in a bit of a benching headache, I see.
Yeah, I'm quite thankful we have 2 weeks to really figure this out because this is a massive dilemma.
And also, what transfer would you make? Because you don't want to roll a transfer, really. So you'll have to make one move somewhere.
I actually have a plan, I think. I might get rid of Ben White. And the reason why is I might take out an Arsenal player because they do double in double game week 20. Is it 23? They double it.
Arsenal don't double until 23. You're correct. Sorry. Brentford and City for Arsenal in 23.
Okay, so I could take out Rodrigo, who has Man United in 23, and replace the Arsenal third Arsenal slot with either Saka or Odegaard.
Could do. That will give you triple Arsenal attack. It's a good comment, potentially.
I really kept Rodrigo really for the double, which he thankfully has got, because otherwise I wouldn't really have had much.
Have you thought about a bench boost?
Bench boost?
Because your bench is looking good. Because you got me against Southampton, White against Everton's fine, Almiron's West Ham is fine as well. and then you've got a pretty good team in the first 11 with Tony and Ketia, all nice fixtures. Now you could get your bench
Actually,
boost out the way, and play your bench boost.
Actually, I could play my bench boost. Actually, yeah, I'll have to really think about this because I could potentially use the bench boost now. Looking at the team,
Yeah, could do. Team
yeah,
looks
I might
pretty decent.
worthwhile.
Hmm. Yeah,
That'll
well
be in
set
my
up for it.
thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Colm with a nice shout there. Um, yeah, back to my team. 'Cause I don't have as strong as bench as you, but I kind of prefer not to have a strong bench because I don't like having the benching headache. But sometimes it does pay off because obviously when players get injured, etc., then you don't worry because you get automatic sub and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, game week 22 is going to be a big one. I think a lot of nice fixtures for the big teams like Man United doubling. Arsenal got a nice fixture against Everton, you know, um, and even Newcastle play West Ham at home. We know how strong we know how strong Newcastle are at home. So that's a good one there. And yeah, I think it could be a big week for FPL managers. And I think some chips will be played definitely this week.
Yep, maybe bench boost for me. Who knows? Maybe a triple captain from us. This could be an interesting deadline.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deadline stream for sure. So make sure you guys are subscribed, guys, so you don't miss out on any of this content. We're streaming every week for you guys. So we hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy the content, you know, show us some appreciation. All we ask for is your likes. So like, and also if you can, please share the video as well on your socials. Anything else we want to talk about really before we do wrap it up? I mean, if anyone's got any more questions, drop it in the comments. Um, I want to actually look
yeah,
at fixtures as well. I wanted to look at some
yeah,
fixtures longer term and who to target really. Um, so these are the fixtures. I hope you guys can see some of that. I mean, Arsenal, they do have a double coming up in game week 23. Um, Arsenal's fixtures, obviously, Arsenal are playing really well right now. So you want to be tripled up on Arsenal, I think, still. With Everton, Brentford, City at the double, Villa, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace. These are some nice fixtures for Arsenal. Going into it now. Who else really we should talk about? Brighton is another team. We've mentioned Brighton, haven't we? Obviously Mitoma. Bournemouth, Palace, Fulham, Newcastle, West Ham, Leeds, and Man United. So pretty nice fixture run for Brighton. Mitoma is one that we've mentioned a lot, and even players like Solly March have been mentioned. Obviously, with his uh, two goals against Liverpool the other week. Looking at the fixtures, is there any team, Jordan, that you think we should be looking at? Maybe that we're not speaking about. Anyone else that you fancy, or someone different where you think might be changing the trend? Where's the new? Who's going to blow up in the next few weeks? What player or what team? Or
I mean, Aston Villa, in particular, Bailey, could be one that maybe a player that does come out of his shell more. Now, underneath Emery,
hmm.
he
I mean,
is obviously
fixtures.
starting games now and not being taken off or benched in some another. So, with more game time from Bailey, he could potentially thrive in his later fixtures, especially in that blank game of 25. I think
Yeah,
that's when
yeah,
Bailey really come into more of a frame for the fixtures because they are bad Aston Villa fixtures.
yeah.
Leading up to game 25, but after that, their fixtures do become really nice.
Yeah, I think obviously we know Villa play in blank game week 25, and maybe bringing one in early, like a Bailey or a Mings. They got Everton in 25, and that could be a nice fixture for them in the blank. Bournemouth, not to mention much there. The fixtures look quite tough. Brentford, up and down fixtures. I think Tony's the only option right now. We've talked about Brighton. Chelsea as an option yet. Probably not for me. I'm guessing not for you either right
I
now.
mean, Mudryk did look good in that game.
Oh,
Uh,
Mudryk.
Mudryk, sorry. He did look good in that game, but apart from
Mm.
that, He's a wait and see, I think, still,
Yeah.
along with Chelsea.
Yeah, wait and see with those new players. Palace, no. Man United, Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool. Liverpool's a red fixture these days still. I don't know about that one. Everton, no, would avoid Everton. Fulham, obviously Mitrovic is there still. Leeds have a double. We spoke about Leeds. Rodrigo and Gononto as a cheap 5 million enabler. Leicester for me is still in a void. Really, I'm not keen on them. Liverpool have nice fixtures coming up, but what do you make of Liverpool? I mean, another draw, 0-0. They've got Wolves and Everton next, and for me, it's no anyway. Liverpool are still in a void. I would have been completely avoiding Liverpool assets. Have you? I mean, do you have a different opinion on it, or are you the same?
No, I'm quite familiar with that opinion as well. With since Darwin was injured, I think that's the last really
He's back now.
chance that Liverpool had in terms of options. Salah's too expensive and off form. They're not keeping clean sheets, even though that was a clean sheet for Liverpool,
Yeah,
which was very fortunate. I mean,
yeah.
there was a goal from Kai Havertz, which was offside, but that does still not convince me to bring in a defender for Liverpool.
Mm.
So really, no, there's nothing in terms of assets I would really want to go for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Liverpool for both of us still not fancying them yet. Man City, we know they've got a double coming up in 23, so you'd want double or triple City, and after that they've got Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. So we doubled up on those games, tripled up on those games for sure. Manchester United, we know it's very good to have a triple Man United right now, regardless of their loss today. They've got 2 nice home games coming up in the double. Then they've got Leeds, they've got Leicester and Brentford. So Shaw, Bruno, and Rashford look like the popular picks. If you want to be a bit different, you could consider Anthony for a differential. And we know Casemiro is going to be back for these games as well. So Man United should be a bit more solid as well defensively. Newcastle, we know Almiron is the one that a lot of us have. I think Almiron is still worth being patient with, but I understand if you want to move elsewhere. We will look at underlying data soon for players like Almiron, who was on a bit of a hot streak at the start of the season. Is it sustainable? The same with Martinelli and Almiron. The numbers were quite similar. Can they keep this up? Because they were scoring from their expected goals, and they were performing like they were overperforming, if you should say. And now their maybe performances are coming more to regressing to the mean, and that's what's happening with Martinelli and Almiron, where at the start of the first 16 games they were maybe overperforming slightly. Well, so that's what the data suggests, but we'll do a video on that, I think, in depth, in another game week, maybe on the transfer tips video. Nottingham Forest is no one's really gonna consider them. I mean, you could think of who's the forward? Brennan Johnson. Yeah. Leeds and Fulham look okay. Southampton probably avoid their assets. Spurs, Harry Kane. Jordan, would you Harry Kane still a pick? Would you hold him still? City next, Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea. Not bad fixtures, and he's still scoring goals.
Yeah, I think if you have Harry Kane, you hold on to him. I wouldn't bring him in for the fixtures that he does have, even though he could possibly score in them.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably go with the fixtures and not bring in Harry Kane, even though he could be a goal scorer for those.
Okay, fair enough. We know Bowen scored 2 goals on the weekend for a 2-0 win for West Ham. And, West Ham, do we consider them again after their win? Newcastle, Chelsea, Tottenham next.
I mean,
probably not.
No, I wouldn't look too much into it because it was against Everton.
Yeah.
That 2-0 win, and Everton have struggled, especially Lampard, in winning games. So I think for West Ham to win that was pretty much a given, even though both teams are in near that relegation spot.
And finally, obviously, Wolves as well, I think, are in a void. Liverpool next. I mean, the fixtures: Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham. They don't score many goals, Wolves, and even today, there's not really someone that you think he's going to get you the goals. And I think they are struggling with that, with a proper striker. I know they signed Diego Costa. It's not worked out exactly how they probably would have wanted so far, but yeah, I think they do lack goals, Wolves. in that sense. I'm just looking at the league table as well. Can I see the table on here? Is it going to let me? Nah, I'm gonna have to look at elsewhere, I think. Anyway, these are the fixtures for game week 22. But we are back again for more streams, transfer tips, team selection, all that stuff. So if you guys wanna, watch our content, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on anything. But I think we'll wrap it up here. We've been just over an hour now. So if you have enjoyed the content so far, show us some support, guys, and make sure you drop a like on the video if you haven't already. I know there's a few of you out there that still haven't liked, so make sure you do like the stream. And if you haven't, we are on the course. Our next target is 800 subscribers. So hopefully we can get that milestone next for the channel. And I think that's it today, Jordan. Yeah, it's been a crazy game week, especially with the game we just seen. And I'm looking forward to game week 22 and making content on that, talking with you guys all. And it's been a good stream. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Anything else you want to add in regards to, if anything you want to speak about?
Just thank you for everyone in the chat for your questions. It's very much appreciated. I'm going to be very excited to when the deadline stream comes for 22, as it's going to be very, eventful for a lot of people. But yeah, thanks for those who have watched the stream throughout this hour, and we always appreciate your support for the channel as well. So it's a huge thank you for everyone doing that. Keep it up, and yeah, hopefully you'll get green arrows because game week 21 is still ongoing. Still got Tottenham and Fulham to play tomorrow, so hopefully whoever you've got in those two teams obviously do well and have a good start of the week.
Yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that subscribed to our channel today and all the the old subscribers. That's it from the FPL Duo. Drop a like and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.